So if anyone can understand the idea that we are talking about loving ourselves today, loving ourselves, loving ourselves, loving ourselves. And part of loving ourselves is also asking for help. Asking for help from the unseen world that's very much a part of our lives. And so today we're going to call on the angelic kingdom as part of our meditation. So if you will, please take a breath. And as you're getting comfortable within your space, let us remember when we were children. And we often had when there were often cartoons where someone had a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. And they were whispering into the ear, one encouraging doing, quote, bad, and the other saying, do good. This meditation is a powerful one because if you do it on a regular basis, you can practice and clear any negativity that you may have been holding on to for a period of time. And so, as we're sitting quietly with our eyes closed, become aware of your body and the space around you, and feel your breath rising and falling in your chest. Just take a few moments to be with your breathing, pulling your attention inward even further by noting the beating of your heart while maintaining the awareness of your breathing. Breathing in and out. And as we make our next in-breath, we see it as a cleansing breath. And we pull it deep into our diaphragm. We pull fresh, vibrant energy. And on the exhalation, we release not only the stale, used up energy, but the idea that everything that is no longer serving us is leaving our bodies through our out breath. Breathing in fresh, vibrant energy. Breathing out that which no longer serves us. And as you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, allow a feeling of deep peace begin to envelop you as you now begin to relax your body, letting the relaxing power flow from the top of your head and allowing it to wash down into your forehead, the back of your head, into your temples and the back of your head. Allow the relaxation to wash down all of your facial muscles, your neck, your chest, your shoulders. With a breath, roll your shoulders back and relax. Release any tension. Now the relaxing power washes down into the lower part of your body, your hips and your thighs, your legs, and you allow all of any tension or discomfort to just to simply wash through the bottom of your feet and deep into the earth, where the mother will transmute it into positive healing energy. And you feel so relaxed, so at peace. Now visualize yourself on the left side of your mind's eye as you would appear to yourself and others in a moment of impatience. Really see with your inner eye. Watch your face. Observe your body language. What does your impatient self look like? And now on the right side of your mind's eye, see yourself when you are very patient. What do you look like when you have a lifetime of time? as tense as you might have appeared on your left side with your impatient self, see yourself as relaxed in your patience on the right side. Now let that go. And now on the left side, see yourself as you appear when you're depressed. Look carefully. How does this make you feel? Can you be aware of the aura of doom and gloom you're radiating? And now on your right side of your mind's eye, see yourself as you are when you're joyous. Now merge with that joy and that happiness, and know how others would see you that way. For the next few moments, just continue seeing all the seemingly negative feelings and behaviors of your inner self on the left side of your mind's eye, and the opposite of that on the right. Perhaps we see on the left ourselves as jealous, and on the right, how we appear when we are truly glad for somebody else's success or happiness. On the left, perhaps, when you're mean, and on the right, when you're sweet. On the left, when you feel silly or inappropriate. On the right, when you feel brilliant. Keep going on, allowing yourself to be familiar with the you on the left and the opposite you on the right. And we call on our angelic guides to be a part of us as we release and let go of that part of our personality, those parts of our emotion, those parts of our thoughts that are seemingly negative, but what they're there for is to draw your attention to the light side of it. Because when we become aware of that, we can then, through an act of will, change it. Breathe. And now let's see the you, who would be the totality of yourself, with only the right side. And none of the behaviors and feelings of the left side are ever there, ever again. The Dalai Lama tells us that there is nothing else necessary, because just by seeing your negative left side self, you will become so displeased with yourself when you witness yourself acting in any way on the left side ways that you will automatically cease any of those actions and start doing and feeling the right side actions. Eventually, we'll become the right side exclusively. Eventually, we'll have the peace and compassion, the wisdom, the good health, patience, and all the other glorious aspects of us. And so allow yourself to see the angel on the right whisper beautiful, sweet, loving things in your right ear. And allow it to grow larger and larger until it encompasses your entire physical form. And that angel steps back into you. And you are so grateful for all of the help that is here, right here, and right now. And so take a breath. Allow yourself to feel grateful and fortunate, welcoming your angel into your life and giving it permission to continue working with you. Now let's put our hands together, palm to palm, in front of our hearts as we raise them straight up to our heads, and we release them and say the Hindu word for peace, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May peace prevail on earth. And so it is. And since we're talking about release today, our special music is one of my favorites.
Time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I say, if you were discouraged, struggle just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it all go. This is what you have to say: I release and I let go. Let the spirit of my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you,
really
thank
good.
you. Definitely one of my favorite songs. I was going through my photos the other day, and I found this one, and I thought, what the heck? You have to see the other side of me from time to time, the silly side of me. This was at a friend of ours, Hillary Cox, who is now Hillary, yeah, I know, she's a really good friend of mine. Montana. Anyway, we had a small wedding, and I was the only single person there, and I said, oh, you're not going to throw your bouquet? And she threw one flower, and I caught it. So, anyway, somebody caught that on camera, and I thought it was kind of fun.
Didn't work.
Didn't.
Not yet. Not yet.
So anyway, there were 3 gentlemen golfing one sunny day. They came to a difficult par with a water trap just above after the tee. The first golfer proceeds to hit his ball right into the water. To retrieve it, he simply approached the body of water and extends his golf club. The water parts. He takes his next shot, and it lands on the green. The second golfer hits his ball towards the water, but rather than sink, the ball floats on top of the water. The golfer nonchalantly walks across the water and hits the ball onto the green. The third golfer hits his ball directly into the water, where it quickly starts to sink. As the ball sinks, a fish grabs the ball in its mouth. At that very moment, a hawk plucks the fish out of the water and begins to carry it aloft. As the bird soars higher, a bolt of lightning startles the bird, which then drops the fish in a nearby tree. When the fish hits the branch of the tree, the ball pops out, rolls down the trunk of the tree, across the green, and right into the hole. Moses turns to Jesus and says, "You know, I hate golfing with your father." You couldn't, could you? I didn't either when I was first reading. I was going, well, I know one's Moses and one's Jesus. But oh, yes, of course. So, the spirituality of imperfection. You know, being happy doesn't mean that everything is perfect. It simply means that you've decided to look beyond the imperfections. Well, I was getting ready for this month, actually. One of the books on my shelf called at me. It's called The Spirituality of Imperfection, and I actually read it during my training in counseling as a pastoral counselor, and it's by Ernest Kurtz, who was talking about the AA program. And as I was taking my counseling training, that was before they had the AA for Overeaters Anonymous, right? But all that was around at that point was AA. And one of the things that was drawn to our attention was the fact that this program, the person that, or the people, actually I think there were two, that developed the AA program were probably great ones that walking the planet. Because they gave a methodology that was deeply spiritual and allowed people to find themselves in a new way outside of a religious organization. And so as I was thinking about what's going on in my own life right now, I was also reminded of another book by Thich Nhat Hanh called Living Buddha, Living Christ. And yesterday, and for the past few weeks, I've been taking a journey with a friend of mine, a longtime friend named Jerry Klein. And I'm not sure those of you that are here know him. But Jerry was very instrumental, and I want to acknowledge the fact that he was instrumental in having me find my voice in this community over 20 years ago. When the great Aunt Stella Center began to be developed, I was asked to be a part of it. And I was a part of Women's Voices, and I was also instrumental with him in bringing to the public the first interfaith meditation service, and we had it at the great Aunt Stella Center. And there was an imam, there was someone from each and every faith tradition here in the United States. In Charlotte, and of course I was other, because I don't embrace a denomination. And one of the beautiful things that Jerry Klein gave me is I had just graduated from seminary and been ordained, and it was an esoteric Christianity program, and it was esoteric, but it was still Christian. And Jerry opened my mind and my ministry to embrace more of an inclusive interfaith. And he also gave me my first public voice in the community. And so, Jerry, as you're bursting out there, giving God some stuff to think about, I want you to know, and I want you all to know, that every one of us has somebody in our life that crosses our path. And I want to challenge you to be that somebody for someone as well. Because we're living in a time and a place where the spirituality of being imperfect is calling on us to search for spirituality. First of all, it's a search for reality, for honesty, for true speaking and true thinking. And so many of us are striving right now to find our truth. Even me, every day. I think, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because I'm still growing. And I'm still sharing my own journey. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now out in the world about people channeling ascended masters and people doing magic. And let's pull back for a minute and think about something. We need to look at our own spiritual path and not give our power away to anything else.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't care who says they're giving what information from where. You need to allow yourself to be your own guide.
Yes.
Okay? Don't, we've been giving our power away for a long time.
Yep.
Don't keep giving it away to something new and shiny. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I feel like sometimes I'm channeling him. So, just channeling Jerry. because I've been working with what I wrote yesterday for his celebration of life. And so, you know how when you go back in time, you've forgotten things, and then when you focus on it, things come just tumbling back to you. And all of my years here as a spiritual leader in this community has started to come back to me. And I feel like I need to maybe speak up a little bit more. So get ready, folks. So anyway, one of the things that we do as spiritual students and spiritual teachers is we allow ourselves to show our scars so that others know they can heal.
Right.
You know, years ago, and most of you know this, I walked with a leg brace. Before that, I was in a wheelchair because I had a spinal injury right before I was ordained. And I had the audacity to think that once I was ordained, everything would poof, be miraculously healed. Well, yeah, really. But it wasn't for a reason. It was so I could continue my journey. Every journey of healing, every journey of challenge is a journey that we have to take. Mm-hmm. And for people, I've also had people come to me that are healers and say, well, gosh, I couldn't heal this person, I couldn't heal that person. I said, that's not yours to do. Yours is to facilitate an energy exchange so that they can heal themselves, if that is for their best and highest good. Sometimes the path is the journey. Sometimes the journey is the healing, and the ultimate healing is releasing the physical body. Who are we to deny someone to do that? That has a whole lot of implications. I'll let that just sit with you. So this idea of owning our story, it can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. We have to embrace our imperfection. We have to embrace the spirituality of that imperfection in order for us to then balance it. Where we heal it may not come through on the physical in this lifetime. But we're working on ourselves in our emotional body, in our mental body, in our spiritual body. And we don't want to shoulda, coulda, woulda on ourselves, nor on anybody else. And so as we're looking at this idea of embracing our vulnerabilities, it's risky, but not nearly as dangerous as giving up on love and belonging and joy. These experiences that make us the most vulnerable. Right now I'm channeling Brene Brown. Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light. You are imperfect. You are wired for struggle. And, as Kathleen shared with me, no buts here, no buts. And you are worthy of love and belonging. And that's where we have to be right here and right now. We all have struggles. It's part of being in human form. We signed up for it. We agreed to it. And I know you didn't think you read the small print on the life contract, but you did. You didn't just read it. You helped write it. And so one of the things I remember growing up as a Catholic child was every single day of my life, at least once a day, because we went to Mass every single day, before we got communion, we would beat our heart chakra thymus area and say, Lord, I am not worthy to receive you.
That's heavy.
Can you imagine? I am not worthy to receive you. When I went to seminary, almost everybody there had been raised Catholic, and we were taught, Lord, I am worthy to receive you.
That's right.
You have spoken the words, and we are healed. And so but you know what? It's in our cellular memory, because many of us in past lives were nuns, were priests, or serfs. And as someone said to me years ago in a workshop, he said to me, this is Alan Oken, who is an esoteric astrologer, he said, the reason we have poverty consciousness and poor health and we accept it as normal is because somewhere in our past life, our cellular memory is still holding to the truth that we are not worthy. Because unless we were clergy or royalty or progeny of either, let that sit with you for a minute, we had things taken away from us so that we were kept in bondage. And so today, I gave you that meditation with the angels and the right side and the left side. The left side of us is also related to our past. The right side of us is related to our future. And so as you work with the stuff that's holding you in bondage and holding you in not enough, allow yourself to release any vows of poverty you may have taken
Yeah, that's good.
in the past. I'm also working on releasing my vows of chastity. Mainly because I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, you know, since I was ordained, I've never really had a boyfriend in my life. She said, release your vow of chastity.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
And so it is.
But so it is, because what that ordination may have done was kicked in the fact that now that I'm ordained, I got to let go of, you know, material things and men and all that stuff. So I hereby declare and affirm. But that's what we, you know, when you begin to explore, I'll be married by next weekend. But we have to see, you know, what is holding us back. Is it something from our past and not just this lifetime? Remember, we live in a continuum. So I want us to think about that as we're exploring this. And remember, too, the search for spirituality is, first of all, a search for reality and for honesty. And if we're honest with ourselves, we look at the idea that we may not be seeing the truth about who we are.
Right.
We may have expressed or embraced the idea of control dramas, and now I'm going to pull in the Celestine prophecy. We also grew up with control dramas around us, and we gave our power away to some of those control dramas. I know for me, it was probably to Sister Mary Immaculata. So,
I knew a Sister Mary Immaculata.
I think everybody knew a Sister Mary Immaculata who was raised Catholic. She was also my piano teacher. Whack, whack. This still, it's crooked to this day. Thank you and bless you for all the beautiful lessons you have afforded me in my grown-up years. But I want to also tell us or look at the idea of the Celestine prophecy. Now, how many people haven't read the Celestine prophecy? Okay, it came out a long time ago. Actually, I know exactly when it came out because I was just graduating from seminary, and so that would have been 1997-ish, 1996-ish. And I was seeing a healer I was living in Dallas, and I was seeing a healer that was in from Sedona, Arizona. And I had spent a lot of time in Sedona as part of my training as a shaman. And so when this particular healer came, I wanted to go see. And after we were done with our session, he gave me a book, and he said, I just met this young man. And he said, it's only privately published right now, but I feel like you're supposed to have this book. And it was James Redfield's The Celestine Prophecy. Wow. And I took it home, and I think I stayed up for 2 days solid. I couldn't put it down because it was just about everything in a nutshell of what I just studied for the last 6 years in my mystery school that I went to school. Yeah. It was everything that I had studied. And he put it so beautifully. Yeah. And so as I look at this idea of a control drama, as he coined it, in the Celestine prophecy, it's played by anyone who is feeling low on power or energy to manipulate and steal the energy of another. We in the New Thought community sometimes call these people energy vampires.
Yeah.
Okay? So this idea of control dramas are unconscious strategies all people use to gain power or energy from another person and to essentially get their way with others. Can you think of anything that's going on in your life? We get our way with others by making them pay attention to us and then elicit a certain reaction from them to make ourselves feel fulfilled. And I'm only telling you, say, look at yourself, nobody else. Because then you get into a control drama. Mm-hmm. You are judging others as being wrong.
Yeah.
Only look to yourself and your responses to things. And if you're responding to things with any kind of fear or anger, impatience, as we do, it's your stuff.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you need to thank the person that's kicking that up for you. Mm-hmm. For loving you so much as to bring it to your attention. The positive feelings we gain are won at the expense of the other person. And that's what causes drama and trauma in our lives.
That is so true.
Thank you. I thought it was pretty good. He goes on to say, apparently before we are born, each of us experiences a vision of what our life can be, complete with reflections on our parents and our tendencies to engage in particular control dramas, even how we might work through these dramas with these parents and go on to be prepared for what we want to accomplish. So, folks, powerful co-creators are we. And we didn't do this except on purpose. We are here on purpose. And so the idea of how do we get off this merry-go-round? First, insight. Look at the synchronicities and coincidences in your life. He said, I don't think that anything happens by coincidence. No one is here by accident. Everyone who crosses my path has a message. Do you remember that? I need to go back and read the book again because
I was just thinking that.
it's just, except I can't find it. It's gone into the black hole.
Mine is too, and I was.
And mine's signed by James Redfield.
Must find your black hole.
I must find that black hole in my library. But the idea that there are no coincidences, synchronicities, meaningful coincidences or connected events that cannot be explained by ordinary science. So this is the first insight. When we begin to see synchronicities is when we begin to know that the universe is giving us messages. I know that if I'm very still and I focus on what it is that I am to do next, what I also do is send me a sign. And invariably, if my eyes are wide open and my ears are wide open, I could be in the grocery store and get the message from the person behind me in line. Or look down at one of the magazines that are begging you to buy them and see it on the front cover.
Right.
So once you begin to ask, begin to listen, begin to be aware, that's part of being spiritually awake. Now the other part, the second insight, and I'm not going to go through all 10 of them because we don't have time. The second insight is through psycho-spiritual historical reflections, we can live in a longer now and see through our historical, cultural, and consciousness fixations. What the heck does that mean? What I was talking about. You look at what has happened not only in your life, but the state of humanity where we are now. You look at history. Remember, if you don't understand history, we are destined to repeat it.
Right.
And so, as you look at what's going on, what came to mind here was a passage from Philippians. Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. And as we have been told in the past, compassionate communication says, is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary?
That's so true.
All wisdom books can carry this passage in one way or another. It's in Buddhism, it's in Hinduism, it's in every world tradition. And most great masters, whether it was the Master Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or Sai Baba or Babaji or some of the great avatars of this time, they've all said, whatever you focus on, you become. The science of mind. All of that is about this idea that you thinketh in the heart. I'm listening also right now to Michael Singer, if anyone knows who Michael Singer is. And I forget the name of the book because I don't have it written down.
Untethered Soul?
Yes, thank you. The Untethered Soul. She knows.
Untethered Soul.
The Untethered Soul. And he talks about the idea that when we go within and we meditate, one of our problems might be is that we think that we're not supposed to be involved in the world. We're supposed to be on some kind of mountain, and we're supposed to be within. And the idea is you meditate and then you serve. You serve. You volunteer, you give. Meditation can be a service. We'll do that Thursday night at full moon. But the idea that you balance yourself continually with meditation and practice, meditation and study, meditation and service. But at the core of everything is meditation. And so I wanted to go into the third insight, which is the world consists of energy that human beings can directly interact with in ways that transcend current scientific understanding. And then we enter the quantum field.
Yeah.
And then we make the change. But the change must be made. Did I say must be made? From a level of consciousness that is only about love and service. No selfish intent.
Yes.
When we begin to co-create, it is not about me, it is about the greater good. That is the difference between white magic and dark magic, is intent and motivation. Why are you wanting to manifest it? And if you cannot get to the place of pure, unconditional love and surrender, just keep praying. Don't try to manifest, because then you will have what's called the boomerang effect. And it'll come back on you in ways that you might not want to have come back on you. And so the idea of the third insight is that when we realize the world is a field of spiritual energy which is flexible to our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, that the universe isn't dead or uncaring. It's not a dead or uncaring place. It's an energetically connected environment that is divinely constructed to bring our greatest desires into fulfillment. If you keep that in your mind and say, and if it's for the best and highest good of all concerned, this I would have as my reality. And so I want you to say this together with me. I choose to be in my heart now. As I breathe, I flow the light of peace through my entire being. And so it is.
Yes, that's great.